So thank you very much for being here. I am delighted to be part of this program. I absolutely love Deborah. And if you've never had her DNA activation, I highly recommend that you do it. It is off the charts. And I am speaking from personal experience. Okay, so let's get started. You can see that Peter Sterling, who's on his knees right now, getting set up, will do that while I speak because he's going to be part of the end where I'm going to take you through a new 5D Merkaba that will look and feel remarkably like what you've been seeing from the other speakers. I have been teaching the Merkaba probably since 1995, so you can do the math. Long time, long before those guys even got woken up. And I have the inside scoop on a lot of sacred geometry because it was channeled to me. I consider myself a seeker, and I'm still learning, which is why you see me in the audience. I'm not just playing high and not playing with you guys. And finally, I am a channel for the Ascended Masters, and I have learned quite a few things in the channelings that have come from the Ascended Masters. This book is the current book, and how many of you have already bought this book or read this book? A few people. Well, those of you who have, I want to say thank you, because independent retailers across America had a write-in vote, and they voted my book as their bestseller this year. So isn't that amazing? I'm very grateful. So what I want to start with is I want to talk about orbs and say that you have probably been seeing them on your pictures. And when you do, they are for the purpose of helping you to see that you've gone multidimensional. They haven't suddenly appeared in your life. You have shown up in theirs. And you'll notice there's an orb up here, but what's really amazing is actually creating a reflection down here. That's how powerful that particular light was. In another case, this is a picture I took of my computer. When I work with translators, and I do teach a lot in Asia, this particular translator, I wanted to make sure she understood, so I asked for a direct link from my higher self and my connection to the divine, and this purple showed up. She could see it, I could see it, it almost looked like smoke, but when she turned around to look at it, she couldn't, so it showed up on the camera, but her eyes wouldn't show it to her. Now, why is that? Because of everything you've been told, and I'll give you another example. Floaters. If you're old enough to have seen floaters in your eyes, and they're these little black dots that obstruct your vision, when you go to the eye doctor and ask about them, they say, oh, that's just a floater, you'll stop seeing it pretty soon. And your mind literally makes it disappear. They're still there. So this is us waking up to the higher dimensions. And I was so amazed. I couldn't move fast enough, so I grabbed my phone and took a picture from my phone. Now, let's see, Peter, we need you to move just a little bit. No, not you, the harp. I'm sorry. So here's what we're doing. We're breaking out, right? Okay. I'm going to go through these slides pretty fast because I'm going to do something really, really special that I had not figured on doing. So I cut my slideshow in half because I wanted to make sure you had time for this. What do we know about 3D? We know it's the drama of good and evil. We see everything from a for or against, biased observation or judging, reactions that are emotional and not loving, and we use the five senses exclusively until now, okay? You rely on your memory to figure out what to do. Now, this is a picture that was created for me. It's an artist who saw my energetic field. So 5D is what all the traditional religions teach us is heaven. So when someone says to you, well, what does being 5D really mean? And they truly want to know, you can say, well, what were you taught about heaven? And then when they get finished describing it, you can say, yep, that's 5D. Pretty easy. If you, and you your heavenly ascended master self. In 5D, that's what you're becoming. The other speakers may not have actually said that to you, but you are becoming the ascended master you. The not God choice. Well, one of the things that I figured out is that the way we speak keeps us locked into polarity. And when we consciously choose our language, we can move from being 3D into 5D. Now, in the book, I give you a whole table of ways to do that. And we'll get to that in just a second. Another thing that happens when you're 5D is when something happens that normally would upset you, you just say, okay, well, we'll work around it, or some similar response. That's you being 5D. And that's important because once you start to get this kind of tangible information, it helps you feel like, oh yeah, I am 5D. And that's another big aha, that you can slide between the dimensions, like some of the earlier speakers told you. And of course, when you speak, only hearts come out. And you care for others as much as you care for yourself. So here's an example. In the old way, when you bought a car, you wanted to get the best deal you could, whether it was from a car dealer or someone you were buying a used car from. But today, if you're 5D, when you're buying that car, you're uncomfortable if you feel like the other party feels like it's unfair, because you can feel their energy, and you want what's best for them as well as what's best for you. So how do you get to 5D? Well, number one, there's a lot of energy to support us becoming 5D, whether you like it or not, whether you're ready or not. That's the energy that people are talking about that's coming into us, the photon belt and more. There's more matrices that have been put up. There's more energetic grids that have been put up. There's people who are light bearers who are broadcasting dimensional, vibrational upgrades, and they're just the conduit. They don't even know they're doing it. The big aha is you're not going to go to 5D and park there, and that repeats a message you heard earlier. It's always a process. We're always growing. And it also isn't like a driver's license where you get a driver's license and now you can drive anytime you want. It's more like not having a car and having to borrow a car every time you want. So it is a choice, a free will choice. And it also means that you might slide down, and don't sweat it, just let yourself go back up. Now, what's 5D like? And again, this is for you to self-validate. You are joyful for no reason. Fear and resentment do not occur. You feel uncomfortable when others are criticized, and you either stand up for the person that's being criticized or you excuse yourself. That's how you know you're 5D. Now, it is a personal dimensional shift. So this dimensional shift that everyone's talking about is first going to occur in such a way that we're going to hit critical mass before the rest of the humanity catches up. So if we want this to happen faster, it's incumbent upon us to do what we can. And that's what all of this material is about. Everyone takes personal responsibility, and you can see we'll shift. Now, what practices help me stay 5D? Of course, the photon belt. Secondly, spending time in nature. Now, if you're familiar with chemtrails and you go to a national park, they spray more there. Why? Because people don't have cell phone access. They turn off their phones to get in touch with nature, but then there's these chemicals to dumb them down or to make it not possible for them to connect. That's going to stop pretty soon. Coherence. This means, yeah, truly, it is stopping. Coherence is about your four lower bodies aligning. And when you are in integrity and your heart and your mind and your words and your actions align, you have coherence. Then your divine self and your heart center can unify and become one. Your loving choices towards yourself and others are obvious, and you'll use tools to activate your pineal gland. One of the ways that you can activate your pineal gland is chocolate, but not the chocolate that has sugar in it, because sugar will help you calcify it. So you have to find the kind that's made with stevia, or if you're really ambitious, you'll just chew on chocolate nibs that are really raw. And dietary choices. And you've all heard plenty. And what I will say to you is everybody I know that has shifted their diet didn't do it as an act of will. It was more like, that doesn't appeal to me anymore. And that's a 5D way of answering. Because in 5D, you don't say something is good or bad. You say, that's not a match for me. You see how there's no energy? And think about this. In the old days, we called secondhand cars used cars. But today, we call them pre-owned. And a pre-owned car sounds like somebody took some good care to make it nice, to make it guaranteed, and to make it special for you. So the idea of changing your language changes the vibration of everything around you. And oh, by the way, people will pick up your language. I never say good luck to people because luck is an entity. I say good fortune. And I didn't know how much I had influenced my own children until one day my 30-something son said, it was a very good fortune event, blah, blah, blah. And I thought to myself, he really gets it. Now, changing your lifestyle, again, that's a choice. Think of our previous speaker. Was it Light Source? Is that her name? Light? And she was in corporate, and look at her now. I was thinking that exact question when she answered it. How do you go from where you were to here? And as she said, it's another story. We'll have to learn that some other time. And activating your 5D availability. So one of the ways that we do that is we consciously choose to use 5D language. And I'm going to give you some of that momentarily. And it's based on wonder and ownership and the now. So when something happens that you don't understand, you don't use the word weird. That was brought up earlier. And when I used to use the word weird, and this goes way back, I didn't say, oh, that was weird. I say, oh, that was weird. You notice even my intonation, right, had a little judgment. But when you say, oh, that's an interesting event, or oh, I'm surprised that this happened, I'm very intrigued by why this happened, you're choosing an optimistic and an open evolutionary way to understand. And the now, of course, is very important because when you are in the present, not only are you fully aligned with your 4 lower bodies, but you're also aligned in your higher chakras, which allows you then to open up those channels and keep them open. Okay, we've talked about that. Okay, now, this is the number one phrase I would highly recommend you eliminate from your language. Everyone's talking about self-empowerment, but one of the ways we give away our power is when we say, I have to pick up the kids at daycare. I have to remember to go shopping for such and such. I have to meet my husband. I have to do this report for work. All of those have to is me handing off my power somewhere else. But when I say, I've got to get that report done, I like pleasing my boss, or I'm picking up the kids now, I'm going to go. Whatever the phrase is, if you choose to redo it from have to something else, you will gain a huge point of self-mastery. Secondly, don't do the past. And when someone has hurt you or hurt your feelings, count how many times you tell your sorry story. It's 3 times, and then you're done. Okay, so we talked about good or bad, right or wrong, like or dislike, or the truth. And I will never forget the first time someone came to me saying, I'm here for the truth. And she had driven through a blinding snowstorm. And when I heard her words, and this goes back 20 years, I remember coming right out of my mouth, oh, well, you came to the wrong place. I don't do truth. Because if I'm doing the truth, that means that there's a falsity that I need to hold the balance against. And one of the things that happens is when you are part of the truth movement, you are claiming the reality in its original version. Just like you've heard this phrase, the victors write the history. So you own your own opportunity to write the history in a proactive way. So be aware, you can actually change the past. And the why question is about loading up your emotions to understand someone else so you can use your ego and your mind to solve the problem. And while that's useful in the Akashic Records, it's not useful as you move from 3D to 5D. So we're going to skip this exercise because of time, but you can guess at some of these possibilities. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the fifth dimensional use of power. In 5D, you don't have a need to overpower anyone. So when you ask questions, you're asking with regard to support the other person. And you allow others to have their own experience. So when people don't understand you, or they think what you've told them is a little too far off from what they're comfortable with. I'll talk a little louder to you. This is us losing our power. Okay, thank you for the good demo. Can I have my sound back? Okay, so when someone doesn't understand you, your response could be, I champion your right to hold that belief as long as it pleases you. I've had more than one person move off of their stuck spot when they get told that. So you don't need to make anyone right or wrong. And one other thing, when someone asks you about what you're doing or what's going on, it's not your job to convert them. You simply give them a short answer that's accurate, but not necessarily too detailed, and then you change the subject. Well, where are we going to go for lunch? When they come back to you and they ask a second time, they've opened up both their mind, the first question, and their heart. And when their heart is open, they are ready to take it in. Because if you hit them with your knowledge on the first question, you know what they do. They run. So now you know the trick to getting people to listen to you. Give them the short, non-committal, non-involved answer, and then change the subject. If they really want to know, they'll ask you. And it might not be for a month or 2 months, but they will come back to you because you treated them with respect and didn't scare them. Okay, now, let's see. I am going to give you a short course here. 3D is linear, cause and effect. 5D is dynamic, not needing to know why, but about what is going on. And that's the second most important thing to know. When something happens that surprises you, that makes no sense, ask the question, what is going on? Not who did this, why did this happen, how did this happen, when did this happen? Those all teach you a piece of information that you will then use your ego to solve it. Who ate the cookies? Well, if you ask what is going on, you might get told the ETs were here in your kitchen and they ate your cookies. Okay, so you know how to recognize 5D energies because you are uncomfortable around other people's complaints. So if you're feeling 5D, even if you don't notice that you're feeling 5D, when you feel uncomfortable because someone else is being critical, you're 5D, and it's up to you to take action. Okay. The rest of these we've talked about. Becoming 5D, learning to understand your own feelings. A lady stopped at my table earlier and she said, I think feelings are everything. And I said to her, you know, emotions don't exist anywhere else, only here. And emotions amplify, as we were told by one of the earlier speakers, amplify everything you do. So when you want to manifest something, when you put your emotion into it, it amps it up. And I wrote a book on that based on sacred geometry called Be a Genie. And of course, use the tools. Use all the tools. We've got fabulous people here doing wonderful channeling and upgrading. Be in the moment, be sensitive to change, but don't let your environment rule you. Being in the present, what does that look like? It means that actions include your self-awareness, that you pull into your awareness. So this means if you decide, okay, I want to speak the 5D way, and then you look at the list of words you're going to vanquish, and some of the phrases you could use in their place, then when you start to say, oh, that's not very good, you're going to change it, and you'll stop, and you'll say, oh, that doesn't please me. You see the difference? No judgment there. Okay. And of course, meditation. How many times has the speakers told you, meditate, meditate, meditate? Now, I am not going to teach you the higher self signals, but what I will tell you, that this book and my book, Beyond the Flower of Life, have a tool that will teach you how to connect with your higher self and get 100% accuracy. There is not anyone out there that will do that for you. It's a protocol you must follow for 6 weeks. And at the end of the 6 weeks, if you've done what I've asked you to do, you will have 100% accuracy. And I can tell you from doing this for over 20 years that I have been saved from car accidents. I was planning on being in New York City on 9/11 and was told to fly home the day before. I could go on. So we're going to skip that part. And apparently it didn't erase, so I apologize. You'll find this. Being fearless does not mean you're reckless. How many of you are fearless or know somebody who's fearless? Raise your hand. You might even have children that are fearless. That's one of the marks of an ascended master who is in embodiment now. And why are they fearless? Because they're so plugged in, they know when something is safe or unsafe. So they know how to transform fear into action because they notice the fear in others and they can take action to solve it because they don't feel fear. In fifth dimension, fear is your ally. And for your own part, if you feel fear, instead of trying to analyze the emotion, take a moment and close your eyes, and think of a fear, and then say to yourself or to the fear, I feel the fear. What is the message? And the fear will tell you where you're out of alignment in your 4 lower bodies. And you want to save money, but you're buying expensive clothes. That would be where you now get fear when you have your utility bill you can't pay. Okay. Now, it's so funny that it didn't do this. All right, the golden bowl is the set of sinuses that start here and go all the way to the back of the head. Activating your golden bowl will also open up the channel to the divine. I've just completed a new guided meditation called the Golden Bowl, and it is going to be on my website for free for 1 month, and then it will be for sale after that. Now, my meditation CDs are very inexpensive. It is a full-length meditation, and it will go live on May 1st. And there's a blog post that goes with it that explains why it's so important. So make a note to yourself. Check my website on that day if you don't do it. Now, Goode was here last year. How many of you heard Corey? Okay. So I was with Corey when he gave his first presentation, and I'm going to tell you about something that happened. Now, I want to talk to you about dimensional shifts because it was mentioned by one of the other speakers, and there are 3 primary kinds. You are literally jumping tracks. And even today, I had lunch with a very wonderful lady and friend who has been in classes of mine who told me how she jumped tracks. And she went to these 2 wonderful guys that are here, and they helped her understand what had happened. And it was pretty profound. When you jump tracks like that, and it is a dimensional shift that you're allowed to do legally because you have free will, and the benefit of purposefully doing this is so that you can do what this lady did and proactively unhook from some of the bloodline drama, some of the bloodline blockages or curses that may have been on you or your family. This is very, very powerful. I have a membership program that goes for a full year. I believe it's one of the free downloads right now on that program. So it's not for sale because it's a very, very special meditation, and I have been told just to keep it low key, but you guys are already high key, so it doesn't matter. Now, here's another thing. You may have noticed that some of the other speakers talked about this, where they discovered this event, and then it was like an aha. They got it, and that's when it goes live. It's almost like you downloaded the data like on your computer, but until you hit the play button, it doesn't go live. Okay. So now here's the 3 kinds of dimensional shifts. The first one, this one happens in the sleep time, and it looks like this. How many of you have woken up, laid there in bed, wondering why are you awake, and then you can feel this energy moving towards you, and now I'm going to make a sound, and it's not, this does not come with a sound, but I'm going to use my voice to help you feel what I would feel when this happened. Do, 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 do. And so how many of you have had that happen? Lots of people. This kind of a dimensional shift happens when you are in your bed. Usually you will wake up. And the wake up is to alert you and to give you authority, your free will. And then when this occurs, for you even to say, okay, well, that was interesting, even that is an acceptance of this dimensional shift that you could go through. Another kind is the clearing kind, and I don't need to talk too much about that other than to say it can happen with any spiritual practice that a teacher is doing with you or for you. It could be a sound healing, it could be a DNA activation, it could be a regression, whatever it is. And what happens is it can happen during devotional exercises. Now, why do I have a single person there? Because sometimes it's you in your meditation, and you have full awareness, and the shift just is very gentle and very, very aware. The third kind is what I call a tsunami, okay? Now, it usually happens with an aha, and the shift is immediate as the discovery sinks in. Now, this is observed with an open third eye. So here we are, 3 kinds: download, clearing, and tsunami. All right, always based on a decision. So if these things are happening to you, you can do 2 things. Is this coming from beings of 100% God light? Yep. Okay, I'm in. Now, I'm going to skip over this. A clearing dimensional shift is you are changing your mindset. And it looks like a tsunami. And we have that, okay. Now, I'm going to shift. I am going to come back to Corey, by the way. There are multiple versions of the reality, and there are multiple versions of you. Now, some people will tell you that it's infinite, and it's not. It's based on how many different decisions you're making. So let's say you're deciding to go to college, but you got accepted by 3, and 2 of them you were having trouble deciding which one between these 2. So you will actually choose one, and then the second choice, you'll make another version of you to take that path. And that path will be funded by your energy. So if you're on the first choice and you discover, gosh, you know, it doesn't have this and it doesn't have that, it doesn't have this, then that regret funds this other version. And that version will continue until you are ready. Okay, so let's skip over some of this because we're worried about time. So now, Corey's talking about this mind meld that he had with Carrie. And in this mind meld, the way it works is he allows his consciousness to liquefy and come out his arms in front of him, and she does the same, and they have a space between them. And then they put their 2 balls of energy in the middle, okay? And she said to him from this point forward, she would always be part of him, and he would be part of her. So he took this in mentally, but he didn't get it, didn't own it, okay? Remember that business of owning it? All right. She would know if he needed her. So now we fast forward to the very first time Corey was presenting without David Wilcock, and he's telling the story, and he stops. And this is him talking about this experience, and he hesitates. And then he announces that he is part of the Blue Sphere Being Alliance. And at that moment, I was sitting like in the second row, the entire room did this. the tsunami. And I saw, if the air were water, I saw it move through the room. And I'm looking around, did anybody else see that? No. And it's happened to me many times where I've seen it in someone else, and the room literally shifts because they've jumped tracks, and that literally, it's like jumping out of the water, right? And they're jumping into something else. All right, now, I'm moving quickly here. All right, let's do this. I'm going to skip over all this because I want to get to the meditation and invite Peter Sterling to the stage. So we're going to do this. This has never been done live before. So this is your time to turn on Facebook Live. And if you want to move over by the guys, Vito, you might have a better shot. You can put both feet on the floor, and this is a very powerful meditation. It's based on sacred geometry, and I am going to read it. You may have done the 17 breath Merkaba, which is what I taught for close to 20 years. And then you would start with that if you wanted, or if you could. And I'm just going to read it, and Peter is here somewhere. Okay, come on up, honey. And I'm just going to start, and then I'm going to signal him, and he can start. Okay, why don't you do that real fast? Some of you may know Peter because he is a Sedona native for some 30 years, and I consider his harp the voice of the angelic realm. And if you don't know him, come to my table and discover his work. He does art, he does music, and he also does tours of Sedona. So if you're here for a while, have him take you on a very special tour. All right, I'm going to start with meditation because we're okay. All right, Peter? Are you okay with me talking over you? Okay. This is a more advanced, highly evolved 5D Merkaba, and I recommend that you close your eyes. It will anchor your heart to your 8th chakra, activating the higher dimensional energies and help you to keep your heart and mind open to more advanced and evolved self. Normally, you might do the last 3 breaths of the original 17 breath Merkaba. Remember to breathe unconditional love into your heart from both the earth and the cosmos. Continue to hold your hands in the same mudra, and that mudra is like this. Either one. I'll just let this. I'll show it again. So your hands are nested, palm in palm, either hand on top, doesn't matter, do what feels comfortable, and then your thumbs touch. Not high like this, but low. Okay, and you'll hold this meditation. Say it again. Good idea. Good thing she's running the show, right? Okay, palms nested and then thumbs touching. And you may end up pulling them apart a little bit to make it comfortable, but not high, but low. Okay? This mudra is a balancing mudra. So put your hands in that position and continue pranic breathing, which is intentionally breathing through the pranic tube entry at the perineum and bringing prana in through the crown chakra, meeting at your heart. You will move from your solar plexus center point to your heart. And now with your heart in the center, see the flower of life sphere. It's actually multiple spheres, one spinning counterclockwise, one clockwise, and one spinning in both directions simultaneously. Now, as 3 spheres, they are a complete unit, spinning on the same axis as your pranic tube, emanating from your high heart chakra. It now changes colors to a teal-colored sphere with golden lines. Let it expand slowly enlarging while spinning to the size of your chest cavity. So it's gone from a basketball size to the size of your hips, minus any extra baggage you might have brought with you. Okay. See it expanding slowly. Take your time and let it adjust to the perfect size for you. And then focus your awareness on the following words: allow, observe, listen, blissful unfolding. Invite your pranic flowing energy to support your flower of life sphere in slowly floating up your pranic tube, gently lifting and pulling with grace and ease. First, moving to the throat chakra, then the third eye, then the crown chakra, and then continuing to go up to the chakra above your head, centering the flower of life sphere in your 8th chakra. And if you don't know what that looks like, you can look at the slide and then close your eyes again. Your flower of life sphere is now centered completely in your 8th chakra above your head. This is the location that's tied directly to your higher self. Allow. At this point, you have created a figure 8 flow with a new golden spiral throughout this field. This means that the channel in front of your spine, which is your divine channel, is now emanating the DNA spiral. You may observe spirals throughout this field. You might also experience the upper and lower hourglass figures, like the upper and lower hourglass parts. You have created a beautiful figure 8 in 2D and a fully rounded hourglass in 3D. This figure 8 flow has the quality of moving around itself and within itself like a tube torus. It is built upon the figure 8 spinning so rapidly upon itself that it appears as if it's pulsating dimensionally beyond what you would normally be capable of seeing from your 3D perspective. Both the bottom and the upper parts of the hourglass have this 5D way of moving. Keeping the center of your awareness and energy on your 8th chakra, your new heart center of unconditional love, you will now put your attention on the Sun and Earth tetrahedrons located in the lower half of the hourglass shape. Simultaneously move both points of the Sun and Earth tetrahedrons within themselves in opposite directions. The lowest point of the Earth tetrahedron ascends from its place below the feet through the center of itself to the upper half of the hourglass, moving upward along the pranic tube, beyond the physical chakras, continuing upward past the crown chakra, upward past the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th chakras, locking into the top of the figure 8 hourglass. Your pranic tube has now extended to more than double its normal length, extending half of its length above your head. As this occurs, notice that you are gently activating your higher chakras as you cross each threshold. At the same time, the original Sun tetrahedron's uppermost point moves downward within itself along the pranic tube towards the Earth to the bottom of the hourglass, connecting to the 0 chakra and locking into Mother Earth. The 0 chakra is a new chakra for most humans and assists you in keeping your connection to the Earth star while you bring in these expanded energies. Notice that anchoring your sphere of spiritual spinning flower of life energy on the 8th chakra opens you to a continuum that will slowly and gently assist you in the sweet opening of the higher chakras. Your 8th chakra, your new heart center, is the center of divine love, spiritual compassion, spiritual selflessness. Any unresolved karma that has already been dissolved here, but you must choose to activate the spiritual skills that you have stored here. At the 9th chakra, as it begins to open, you are tapping into your soul's blueprint. This is the true storehouse of the outer skills, showing up in the 8th chakra and gently feeding them. In the 10th chakra, your creativity, synchronicities, and the merging of the divine masculine and the divine feminine are present. Allow yourself to activate this chakra as you open to a new way of being centered, balanced, and powerful. Your 11th chakra allows you to access your inner ability of spiritual gifts that is beyond what is presently considered possible. This may include time travel, teleportation, and bilocation. You may also begin to experience the precipitation of vibhuti or material objects. This is what we know the true bodhisattvas do, and you may accomplish this yourself. As this chakra starts to open, it has a monitoring effect, allowing it to become easier and easier for your lower chakras to benefit. The 12th chakra connects you perfectly with your cosmic divine self, which plugs you into all. Notice that anchoring your spheres of spinning flower of life energy on the 8th chakra opens you to this continuum and will continually and gently assist you in the sweet opening of these higher chakras. As you continue to bring in prana from both directions, from the cosmos and the earth, with your inhale, activate the lifting of the perineum up to the top of the new sun tetrahedron. The cosmic energy coming down through the pranic tube flows downward simultaneously. Your pranic tube is now feeding your cosmic superhighway, and your pranic tube has now become home for the rainbow bridge, your personal connection to the divine. The rainbow bridge and rainbow body is the actual form that appears when bodhisattvas spontaneously burst into light. As you breathe, new crystalline structures may appear. They may show up as vertical DNA spirals of beautiful, shimmering, shifting, fluctuating colors. The lower hourglass shape may appear heart chakra green, while the upper half of the hourglass may appear a bright purple, the color of the 6th chakra. Continuing to breathe through this newly activated and extended pranic tube as long as you wish, ensuring that you are allowing prana to move through both the earth and the cosmos. Continue to energize your flower of life sphere, nestled in the nexus of the rounded hourglass, centered on the 8th chakra above your head. As the hourglass intersects with itself, it creates 2 tube toruses that are completely interacting with each other. Allow this beautiful energy to build inside the flower of life shape. Remember, you may see specific colors or multiple colors, or a kaleidoscope of colors, some other symbology of color. Keep breathing prana in and out from both directions. You are filling and supporting this new structure. Allow this energy to build in preparation of your activation. Now, with a deep breath, inhale and exhale deeply and blow out the flower of life sphere. Your flower of life sphere has expanded to 155 feet or 47 meters in diameter. Allow yourself to visualize the structure known as the Gaia star, an 8-pointed star perfectly sized to reside within your flower of life sphere, supporting its new volume, structure, and size. Visualize the space inside the flower of life sphere as a crystalline teal with the lines consisting of crystalline saffron gold, the Gaia star. Continue your pranic breathing at this level for as long as you wish. We are now calling in the energies of the harp through Peter Sterling to anchor this into your body. If you were to buy the 5D Merkaba CD, there is a voice activation by Janice Jaffe. In this case, we have the voice of the harp. Slowly bring yourself back to the present. See yourself turning a key. Lock this energy in you. And wait for the magic. Thank you very much. I'm the Practical Mystic. And thank you, Peter Sterling, for an all too short opportunity to hear your fabulous music. Buy his CDs.